To exist, something must take up space. To know, something must notice that space. Between what you are and what you know, there must be a resistance. That resistance is where the mind first says, I am. Without I am, there is no edge between you and the world. Without an edge, nothing begins and nothing ends. At that edge, color is born. At the boundary between self, narrative, and reality. The average human can see up to 1 million distinct colors. But for those who've taken Veilbreakers, the number has been recorded a quadruple. These people often describe seeing entirely new colors, ones they have no words for. That's a strange thing about perception. It's something we can talk about, but never fully transfer. And when it comes to color, our language fails almost completely. You can't really describe what a color looks like to someone who's never seen it. But even if colors can't be explained in words, they can still be categorized by the effects they have on our minds. In this class, we'll explore the philosophies behind color, the influence pigments have on perception, and the ways in which they shape the world around us. When using Veilbreakers or entering zones dense with significance, colors don't just change, they become clearer. Not in the sense of lightness or purity, but in function. You stop seeing what your brain expects and start seeing what's actually there. This is a mechanism we'll be learning about. The color wheel of reality. These pigments tell you what something is trying to do, not what it looks like. Now, before you start thinking this is some modern day invention, we're not the first to notice this. The Vajrayana Tibetan monks got real close. Through centuries of tantric symbolism, meditative discipline, and psychic training, they've mapped emotional and spiritual states to colors with surprising accuracy. Red for desire, blue for internal clarity, and yellow for external clarity. They built this system using their framework as a base, filtering their insights through hard science, field work, and threshold exposure reports. What emerged was our pigment wheel, a full spectrum of significance expression, 6 core pigments, each representing a psychic posture or metaphysical pressure. And at the center of it all are the 3 primaries. Red is motion, red is change, red is the push, an observant made sharp. Whether that means lust, anger, ambition, or sacred fire. The pigments of red hold the emotions that move to change the world. It forces people to speak, act, and dominate. In lighter pigments, red is charisma. In darker pigments, red is war. When a person is deep red, they stop listening and start moving. Yellow is what you see. It's what you know. It's the part of us that senses danger before we know why. It's the part of us that interacts with reality at a fundamental level. Yellow isn't just fear. It's what happens right before fear, or guilt, or genius, or even madness. It's pressure. The pressure of understanding and observing. The longer it builds, the darker it'll become. Some burst into orange, others calcify into green. The Tibetan monks understood blue the best. Blue is the mirror, the sense of I am that stays consistent even when everything else changes. When darker, blue will make someone resistant to manipulation. When really light, they'll dissolve, easily overtaken by a stronger will. At its darkest, blue folds the self completely inward. Introspection becomes isolation. Dark blue will make someone drown in their own mind. These 3 are the foundations. Everything else is either collision or a compromise between them. But before we get into the mixed pigments, we have to talk about darkness and light. You can't talk about color without talking about black and white. Technically, neither of them really are colors. Not in pigment, not in light, and not even in significance. They're what happens when color breaks, when a pigment is pushed too far or not far enough. Black is weight. When you mix too many pigments together, you stop getting complexity and start getting sludge. Meaning becomes saturated, too defined. The self hardens into material. Will becomes inertia. Thoughts become mass. That's what black is. Not emptiness, but too much. The moment significance congeals into something heavy, unmoving, and dangerously stable. White is the opposite failure, fragility. Not absence, not a blank slate. White is meaning that hasn't taken shape, potential without direction, significance with no anchor. When something is too light, too undefined, it becomes unstable. It flickers. It can be anything, but can't at the same time. The monks called it non-self, a state of perception before identity. White isn't innocence, it's preferenceless being. And that can be liberating or lethal. You'll find black and white everywhere, even though they're not colors in the usual sense. Hospitals bleach things white for clarity. Mourning rituals wear black to preserve meaning. Thresholds flood with one or the other. Either everything's too defined or nothing's defined at all. After this course, you learn to tell the difference. This matters when we start talking about the mixed pigments, the collisions between self, desire, and tension. But remember this. When something or someone goes too light or too dark, it'll look the same. Because at their extremes, stability and fragility look the same. Irrational.